It's going to be a ruthless welterweight rematch with a title on the line. Welcome into MMA Live Extra. I'm Cary Chow. Robbie Lawler defends his title against Rory MacDonald in the co-main event of UFC 189 this Saturday in Las Vegas. To preview, we bring in ESPN MMA writers Brett Okamoto and Reed Kuhn. Brett, Lawler won their first fight via split decision. It was close. What are you expecting this round?
Yeah, I'm expecting another close fight. If you go back and rewatch that fight of late 2013, you saw two guys who were somewhat hesitant, especially early on in the fight, didn't know exactly how they wanted to go about attacking the other. And I think what that is a mutual respect for each other. It's also just, there's not a lot of holes in either fighter's game to really exploit. I think if you're looking for one X factor in this fight, it is probably the wrestling of Rory MacDonald. I think not just in terms of getting the fight to the ground and looking to finish it there, but also just in terms of winning rounds. These are close welterweight title fights. You've seen it between Johnny Hendricks and Robbie Lawler. You've seen a close fight between Robbie Lawler and Rory MacDonald. All these fights are very close, and one key takedown can change the entire complexity of a fight, and Rory MacDonald has that. But even that advantage is not a huge advantage. The wrestling defense of Robbie Lawler is very good. We saw that when he fought Johnny Hendricks. So I'm expecting a 5-round fight and a very close one where the judges are definitely involved.
You mentioned how close the previous round was. Despite losing the first fight, MacDonald, he's the betting favorite this go-around. So, Reed, who gets the edge in your metrics?
Well, when you look at just the raw numbers, MacDonald gets a few more edges than Lawler does, but it is very close on paper. And also there's some give and take here. There's some trade-offs. MacDonald works at a higher pace. He has a very effective jab. He uses it a lot to create space because he is so rangy. But Lawler is much more powerful and dangerous with his strikes, and he has shown very good takedown defense if MacDonald does try to wrestle him. So I do expect this is going to be an all-over fight. It's going to go everywhere. MacDonald does need to be aggressive in order not to sit back and actually win these rounds proactively. But on paper, this is a great matchup and very close.
Brett, let's channel some history. GSP ran this division for over a half-decade. Rory is a protege of St-Pierre. If he wins, is there a sense that he could do the same?
Well, certainly that is what Rory MacDonald has been being groomed to do, and whether or not it's really fair to put those expectations on him or not, those have sort of been there really since he came into the UFC, that he would be the guy to take that belt and keep it in Canada once Georges St-Pierre retires. I don't see it. I think that you really have a three-headed monster at the top of that welterweight division. It's Rory MacDonald, Robbie Lawler, and Johnny Hendricks, and on any given night, one of those three can be the best welterweight in the world. It just depends who has the best night. That was not the case with Georges St-Pierre, and it really illustrates, how difficult it was and what Georges St-Pierre accomplished by being the #1 guy for as long as he was, and so much head and shoulders above everyone else, because that is just not the case anymore. There is not a dominant welterweight champion. I think the belt could continue to exchange hands primarily between those three guys.
Very difficult to compare a fighter to GSP like that. Reed, who wins this fight and how?
Well, I think it's understandable that MacDonald may be the favorite here. He was very young when they first fought, and so he has evolved his game significantly, really improved in a lot of aspects. But I also see this fight as a coin flip fight. I would say that there is value on Lawler as such a big underdog, nearly 2-1. I do also agree that this probably goes to the cards. It's going to be close. I think each man will win rounds. So my official pick, I think, is with MacDonald, much younger, more capable of winning rounds, but he needs to watch out. I think the aggression of Lawler could win him this fight.
Yeah, as we said all through this video, this is going to be a close fight, and as I came up to just making my pick, I think what really did it for me was that it just feels like it's Rory MacDonald's time. This guy's 25 years old, which is still very young, but he's been through the ringer in his UFC career. He's had learning processes along the way. One of those was that split decision loss to Robbie Lawler in 2013. I just feel like this is his moment. This is his time to put it all together. Robbie Lawler, last year was his time. 2014 was his time. Going on the run that he did and winning the title, he was the fighter of the year for me in 2014, but it's a new year, and I'm picking Rory MacDonald to win this fight.
A lot of coin flip fights on UFC 189. Going to be interesting. Both our guys you just heard leaning towards MacDonald. For post-fight highlights and Brett's breakdown of UFC 189, be sure to check out ESPN.com's MMA page. For Reed Kuhn and Brett Okamoto, I'm Cary Chow. Enjoy the fights.